Hello, everyone. Welcome to In the Neighborhood with your hosts, Tim Johnson and Stacy Borho. Together, they are finding out what makes the heart of the Heartland beat. They sit down with people in your community that lead organizations, businesses, and government. You'll learn who they are and what they're involved in and why. They are the people in your neighborhood. It's In the Neighborhood with Stacy Borho and Tim Johnson.
Hi, everybody. Tim Johnson and Stacy Borho.
Hey, Tim.
How are you?
It's the week before St. Patrick's Day.
It is a gorgeous day out.
And it's beautiful.
I just want to play hooky and go out and do stuff. You're wearing green? Almost.
Trying to wear as close to green as I can all week long, just for fun.
So today's kind of a special. We have no guests today. We're just going to talk about In the Neighborhood and the things that we do and what we've done and where we're going and all of that.
All kinds of stuff.
So we started back in 2011 talking about community. I was a realtor and I wanted to talk about community and just happened to walk into something with WMBD, and we started a radio program there. I mean, you were like the second show, you were my co-host, and we're over 180 shows now, I think.
Wow.
183 maybe, something like that. Anyways, we've done a lot of different shows, found a lot of different cool community people that are doing some amazing things. I recently presented to Leaders Change Illinois, and they're like, well, what inspires you? And it's just the great community that we have. We had a guest on a little while ago, and she's like, I'm from a different state, and people aren't even aware of the charities that are in that city. And Peoria is just a totally different environment. It's like people talk about what's going on, and if they see a problem, they make something happen.
Come up with a solution.
Yep. I think as far as volunteering, you've been one of my biggest mentors, inspiration in getting involved. You've kind of pulled me into a few things. But I think where I started to get the bug is we did I volunteered to be a chair for the Pumpkin Classic, and it's something for the Morton Chamber of Commerce, where we kind of grew the race from its humble beginnings to something that's been kind of a staple in Peoria. So, what's your thoughts on In the Neighborhood?
Yeah, I think In the Neighborhood's been a ton of fun, getting to interview so many different people and their passions. And I was trying to remember, since you said I roped you into something, what I roped you into, and I'm going to have to bet that it was Make-A-Wish.
Make-A-Wishes? Yep.
Was that the first thing?
Yep.
Okay, so joined, actually I was a CASA, so we've had CASA on here a few times because that's an awesome nonprofit here in the neighborhood helping kids, and so I was a CASA, and then I saw Janet Glavin's video for Make-A-Wish, and so I became a wish granter, and then also joined the council, which Janet Glavin's great at getting us to do, and then started that I Spy a Wish, which will be coming up.
Kind of founded the I Spy a Wish, right?
Yeah.
Came up with the idea.
Yeah, it's totally off-the-wall creation, scavenger hunt. I know my nephew had a play in that because I was trying to pick his brain on, what would be something fun and different to do, and a few walks with some other girlfriends. And that was a big time for when they had all those, the Amazing Race. Yeah. Somebody said, you could do the Amazing Race. And I don't know how that even came into fruition. I think that was a God thing, just putting it out there. And now we're on our, I think, 8th year for I Spy a Wish.
It's hard to believe.
Which is so crazy. And to watch that, continue on.
It's such a celebration and fun time. Just everybody that's there is just excited, and there's prizes, and it's such a fun thing to do.
Yeah. But then, you go as smaller and cozier to, we had the lady in here who did the garden in her own neighborhood. And then the kids that
That's
got
great.
to walk through and kind of be like, what are you doing? Why? And she was a safe place, right? She was a safe resource, a safe learning space, which there's a lot of kids out there that don't have that.
Right.
But it was something as simple as that, but that we got to bring her in was even cooler. How did we get connected with her?
That's a great question. I think somebody said you should interview her, and just gave us her name.
Yeah, which is awesome, right? I mean, we love the word of mouth. We love getting to hear more and more stories that, I hadn't a clue. I just remember one time I had looked up and there was like 1,500 nonprofits in our area. And I'm like, well, we could never get bored doing this because there's so many of them out there. Granted, we have a lot of churches, which is awesome. And we're not opposed to bringing churches on. We've had, the International House of Prayer on, and my pastor at Richwoods, Jim Powell, and of course Chuck Tate's a huge supporter of Peoria Life. And so just the vast array of people that we've gotten to meet and learn more about. Cuddles for Kids is another great one. A child's story of starting young and holding on to that, of what impacted her life. So cool.
Carl Cannon probably is, we've had him on a couple of times, and we've toured Tree Wind and see, his story. Carl Cannon is, he went from being a prison guard and saying, I can't help these kids here. I got to get to them beforehand. And so he started getting involved with our schools, and now is major portion of Tree Wind schools and changing the lives that are affected there.
Yeah, Carl Cannon's one of my favorites too, because hearing his story, and then actually when I did the community leadership school, I got to see him in action, which was really cool in regards to what he does. And he had me in tears, just that the power and the strength, and just him wanting those kids to have a different vision for themselves. I see that repeatedly through other people saying, these kids, our kids around us, no matter what family they come from, they're just wanting someone to believe in them. And then they need to be able to have a vision too. But if they're stuck in this world of same, they might not get out.
Yeah.
And that's not a complicated thing to do, right? It's just spending some time with someone, the lady with her garden in her yard. That's just that simple.
Yeah.
But sometimes too, I can imagine that some people might be afraid to talk to kids. But I don't think there's really anything to be afraid of.
Yeah.
They're all just, we get tough shells sometimes because of what we've gone through, but what's inside is just longing to be connected with.
I go back to the statement I've said forever, is the difference between a hero and a victim. Is a hero is thinking of others, and victims really think about themselves. And so she's a good definition of our volunteer hero, that somebody that's not thinking of, they have space, she saw a problem, and she went out and fixed it. Fix may not be the right word, but invested into it. And that's been pretty amazing to see.
Yeah.
We'll have to have Carl back on again. He's just a big inspiration to me. I know I come across as a fanboy for Chuck Weaver, but
A fanboy.
I just, some of the things that, just to get to know him, and we've got to know him personally, just a great guy that sees a problem again and is doing his best to make a change. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's the words, how can I help?
Right.
Don't be, like, if you have a problem, that's fine, but let's talk about a solution, instead of aiding in the conversation of the problem.
Yeah.
So that's a big difference too, right? And I was actually just in a class all day yesterday with my mortgage department, and there was a great speaker there, and he just talked about, are we blaming or are we coming up with solutions? Are we under control or concern, and where are we going with that? So
Yeah.
it's easy for us to point fingers instead of saying, okay, well, this is happening, so what can I do? The only thing that we can control is ourselves, right? So what can I do differently to help the outcome change?
Yep.
Instead of saying, well, it's because they did this. Well, that can't be changed now. Let's move past that.
Instead of finding problems, find solutions.
That's right.
And we've met almost everybody that we've ever talked to are people that are fixing problems. Mm-hmm. And not finding them, just fixing them because they need solutions.
Sure. And we could even take the word problem out, couldn't we? Maybe say it's a challenge, something that we'd like to improve upon.
Yeah. Yeah, there are times that things are just being improved, and yeah, I agree to that. Mm-hmm. Dream Center, which is right across the parking lot from us, they're doing amazing things. We plan to have them on when it warms up. We get a few good days, we'll go over there and take a tour of some of the changes that are going on there. Mm-hmm. So we've come a long way. I mean, we were recording in my broker's office, doing, we'd set up and tear down every week, and moved into the chamber and Chamber of Commerce. Jeff Griffin has been awesome with us. They're doing great things over there too. Mm-hmm. And now we're here, 707 Main Street.
So cool.
It's been cool to see this vision come about.
Yeah. So you have good seats for the parade from here, or you need to move up a little bit?
It's one block that way. I wish we could.
You'll
put a
still
camera
definitely
out.
have a lot of traffic, though.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of traffic here. But we have some great things with Peoria Life that are coming up. This summer, we're going to take a flight with Life Flight.
Ooh.
That should be a really cool thing. If you haven't heard, Diamond Star has a new truck company putting out electric vehicles, and we're probably going to go check out Rivian. Their new electric pickup is really cool. You have to really go and do a search for them, what they're doing at Diamond Star. But it looks like an anime, Japanese style looking, cartoon looking car. But it looks cool in real life, really cool. Lots of cool stuff. But we're going to talk to them, have some other projects going that we're probably not going to talk about right now. But one thing that we're doing within the neighborhood is making a change. We're actually incorporating as a non-for-profit. Mm-hmm. And that's something that we're going for here. Again, Leaders Change Illinois just gave us a grant for starting this, and our goal is really to continue what we're doing, but expand upon what we're doing with it.
Sure.
So we're looking to maybe invest in a few other shows like what we're doing, talking about the great things that are happening, the arts and all of those. We're looking to do a volunteer fair sometime this fall.
On September, on the National Volunteer Day.
Yep. So if you're a volunteer organization, make sure that you connect with us. Mm-hmm. If we haven't talked to you for a little while, reach out to us again. We'd love to add you to our volunteer list and all of the people that we can, talk about and put out the good word.
Yeah, because every single person that's come on has said they had a need for volunteers.
Yes.
So it doesn't take that much time. It just takes, that. Try it out.
Yeah.
What could it ever hurt?
Yeah. I'm thinking through all of the different organizations His Helping Hands is another one you got me into.
Yep, it's coming up soon. I'm excited.
That's a fun one to do. That really is fun. What did they do?
Yeah, so His Helping Hands actually does get, Jeff Heft with His Helping Hands gets their hands on some houses. So I guess if you have a smaller home that maybe you're looking to get rid of for very cheap or donating it to His Helping Hands, then he'll take it and refurbish it with the help of a first-time home buyer or someone in a low-income area. So you put that sweat equity into it, and you get a house that's in much better shape than what he was probably given it. And so that's His Helping Hands. But he also does a lot of ramps. And so Jeff Heft with His Helping Hands designs the ramps. And Advocates for Access collects all the applications for ramps. And so coming up here, I think May 18th, it's a Saturday, is our pre-build day. That's one of my favorite days. My dad and I go and cut a whole bunch of wood. That's on your video that you did. Quite entertaining. And then the big day, the big ramp day, which this is our 7th year for Ready to Roll Ramps for Independence, I think is June 22nd, another Saturday. And that's the day where we'll go out and build 15 different ramps. And anyone can come help with that. I know we actually have some youth groups that are going to be coming this year, so that's continuing to grow. And we've got some new sponsors, some repeaters, and some that are coming back with more teams. So we're already over halfway there with our volunteers and funds collected, because what we've done since last year, and I say we because I'm actually now on the board for His Helping Hands. Imagine that. But it's a passion of mine, so I'm super excited, and we're a small, like 5-person board. So we have the ramps ready to go, but basically, it's about $1,000 to put a ramp on these people's homes. And, I know that we've shared on here before that we actually had a lady who passed away due to a fire because she couldn't get out of her home because of a ramp. I think we had a guy, I don't know if it was one of the houses you did, he'd never been in his backyard.
Right.
Because they just needed a ramp. I mean, that's not complicated, right? It's a ramp, but we take for granted the things that we can or can't do walking in and out of our house. Some people cannot do that.
Right.
So that's another passion of mine. But so $1,000, we ask for $1,000 donation, and then also for you to put together the team. I mean, it doesn't take, we've done it with how many people last year? Did we have like 5 of us?
Yeah.
You could have as few or as many as you want. That's just going to impact how long it takes you to get it done.
Yeah.
And then it also depends on the size of your ramp. But you've brought your boys, and you and I have both been doing it for many years, and it's something simple. What a great way to spend time with your family, friends, whoever. One year it was, we had some church groups that came together from their groups and, came together as a team and did it. Families, friends. My dad and I have been doing it for, I don't know if it's been the full 7 years for my dad and I, at least he and I for 2 years. So that's time that I love that I get to have. So
does everybody that helps have to donate $1,000?
No. Thanks for clarifying that, though.
Okay.
But we'll take your money. Absolutely, His Helping Hands and Advocates for Access can definitely use any funds, but it's per ramp is $1,000, so it would be $15,000 for that day. And if people want to donate more, of course, we'll take it. But so it's supplies only because this is all volunteers. There is not paid help here. So that's so cool.
Yeah.
And that's what we see a lot too, right? The number of volunteers that people have to run, we've heard 5, we've heard 100, we've heard 200. But that just shows you what the Peoria area is doing. And that's why we're here, is helping to get more people out volunteering. More heroes. We're going to make a lot of capes, right? That was another cool thing we got to learn. Now we just need Peoria Life capes.
Yeah.
Or in the neighborhood capes.
Just got to figure out how to do that. They have a video, don't they? And they say they have a
They
video
probably
online
did.
like
We have
tape.
so much information in our brains. Apologize if we can't regurgitate it exactly as it should.
We have a lot of houses. Just saw Becky Rossman the other day.
Oh, right.
Need to have her on again.
Absolutely.
That one's family house. I forget which house. Yeah, sorry, but there's a lot of different
I would say
houses
it's
that were
neighborhood houses.
neighborhood
It
house.
was
There
Becky
you go.
Rossman.
There you go. Sorry, sorry, Becky. Yeah.
Your
and
time's almost up, Tim.
It is. There's a lot to talk about. Comment on the videos on Facebook. That helps us greatly. It's more what Facebook helps. What helps us boost on Facebook even more is when people comment on other people's comments and there's a conversation that's involved there. So you can always comment. If you're interested in being involved in any of these non-for-profits, comment right on our Facebook page, and we're glad to get you connected with those.
Yeah.
So thanks for all you do,
Thank you.
and have a great week.
PeoriaLife.com